you guys. Welcome back to the Speak On It podcast. My name is Melody.
And I'm Rebecca.
And we are so happy that you guys are back today. Today
is Friday.
It's a Friday.
It's Friday.
Shout out other Rebecca.
Everybody call me that growing up.
Because this is my Rebecca. No, but today, you guys, we're going to get straight into it, y'all. Something has been on our minds and on our hearts, and we want to talk about it too, y'all. You know, we're going to talk about being lukewarm today. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
let's talk about it.
It's the way you act.
The way you
Speaking of, where he been?
Yeah. Where are you, Pookie?
Pookie!
Where you go, Pookie? Because it's the way you act. That's iconic.
I miss him.
He's been like a shadow band.
Something. And I know he probably sitting there enjoying his money and
honestly
chilling.
He's probably laying in bed in money right now.
For real, like
just from this.
For real, one move.
Imagine
one move.
We need to come up with something.
No, for real. Let's do it today. But no, y'all, we're gonna talk about being lukewarm. And just also tell you guys a little bit about our experience and how that looked for us, because we are Christian women and we're walking through this thing.
Yeah.
We're walking through this thing as 20 in our 20s, just learning, and you know, everybody, I feel like we all been there.
Yeah, I think at one point we all are a little lukewarm.
Yeah, at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we just wanted to talk about it and
share our experience.
Yeah, share our experience. And one thing I did, y'all, and this is funny because so Miss ChatGPT, I love you, girl. No, ChatGPT be coming in clutch sometimes because I just wanted to see like what Miss ChatGPT would like consider lukewarm, right?
Okay, period.
And like I want to talk about some of it because they put it in like three not categories, but almost like scenarios of what lukewarm would be, right? And so we're gonna talk about these, and then I know, because I've read this, so like I know which one I was, so I could like say that, and then you can say like which one you think that you could have been, right?
Okay.
And we can like bounce off of those of what Miss ChatGPT said. So
let's talk about it.
The first type of lukewarm that Miss ChatGPT was talking about is the Sunday only Christian.
Ooh,
right?
I know some of those.
No, and that's so pretty much that's. If you're here and like you feel like you have this relationship with God, but you go to church on Sundays and then you leave church Sunday, and throughout the whole rest of your week
you're acting different.
Yeah, you not
acting different. You don't have you don't spend any time with God outside of just your 1.5 hour service on a Sunday.
On Sunday mornings. And you leave and it's different. Yeah, that is what Miss ChatGPT said, the Sunday only Christian. So that can be lukewarm, which I definitely I can see that. Also preference. This is also like if you don't know this stuff, this is what it is, and we're not shaming anybody like we said at the beginning.
No.
I've been there, okay?
Trust, yeah.
Okay, so we get it. But
we can only talk about it because we were.
Yeah, we can only talk about it because I was.
Ooh, I was.
I want better for you guys, okay?
No, literally.
That's why. Okay. Second scenario category, whatever. Not canario. Canario is crazy. I
thought you almost said canary. I was like,
sure.
That's a bird, but
England? I don't know. Whoever. Okay. This one is the fence sitter. And that one is somebody who is torn between the world and their faith with worldly temptations. And a part of them feels like they're missing out on the world. And they might frequently compromise their values and stuff because of the tug and pull. That's the fence sitter.
That's definitely clocking some stuff.
That's clocking some
That's definitely clocking something.
No, for sure. Okay. And then the last one.
Sorry, I almost said something stupid. What did you say? I said, call me British the way that clock my tea.
Call me British the way that clock my tea, governor.
Wait, that was Get it because the Big Ben is like a clock and it's clocking, and then the T because the British.
Because British.
Which one is it?
The applause.
I don't know what that is, but
Please.
yeah,
That's something. Yeah. The third one is the busy Christian.
Oh.
And that this person could be involved in numerous church activities. They lead a whole bunch of stuff, multiple committees. However, their personal relationship with God is almost non-existent, and they focus on doing things for God that he's forgotten to spend time with him, or they've forgotten to spend time with him. That is also that's also good.
I got stuff to say about that one too.
Okay, so let's get into it. Do you want to go? You can go first. So what do you think? If you go to church,
y'all literally get into it.
Yeah,
don't judge. She ain't got it with that one.
Okay. So what would you say? Hearing those,
I definitely think I was like overall more of like a number 2.
Okay, and that is the fence sitter. Fence sitter.
Just because based off my experience as a lukewarm Christian, I was very much like a person who, I grew up in the church my entire life. Been a Christian my entire life, and I would always be at church. I mean, we grew up in church together.
Yeah, we did.
So we would always be, together Sundays, and then we had choir rehearsal on Wednesdays, and now we're in ministry together at this new church we're at. And we're heavily involved now. More days than a week at the church.
It's a job.
Love it. I really do. I love it. But I would be involved in some things with my church, and like my relationship wouldn't really grow outside of that too much. And I don't know. It's like a mix of number 1 and number 2, but definitely like I just felt like a very full tug of war. Like, I'm not completely in the world, but I'm not completely in my relationship with Christ. Like, I was very much like compromising certain things just to get, I'm not gonna go do drugs or go drink as much, but if I get tipsy, it's like okay, like I might not get drunk, but I'll get a little tipsy, like surely that's fine, or I'll stay up all night at this party that I'm invited to, and be cussing and, be dancing inappropriate, all these things, but then wake up, be serving the Lord on a stage Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Acting like I wasn't just at a party the night before, yelling my lungs, singing some heinous things, okay? And, just behaving in a way that's not at all Christian-like, like Christ-like, and it's just very much like tug of war, but, there's still, like, the part of me that was, like, you can't go too crazy, you can't do all these crazy things, that people that do in the world, but I wasn't, like, focusing on my relationship with God. I never really opened my Bible at all, really, when growing up. I mean, I knew some of the popular scriptures, and, like, sometimes, I would crack open Google and, like, look at it, but I never made intentional time to read his word. I didn't really start praying that much, and if people asked me to pray, God forbid, I would refuse to pray. I'd like, no, I don't want to pray in front of anybody. I don't want to pray for it. I don't want to do anything.
And y'all, that's crazy, because now that girl, prayer warrior.
It's just crazy how, looking back, like, the enemy stops you. He knows how to keep you from, working for the kingdom of God if you don't know who the Lord is and how your gifts develop, because he's scared of your gifts that you can use for the Lord. And it's just definitely, like, I was definitely, like, not completely in both. And it's giving very much serving two masters, And I was never fully in one because there was somewhat of conviction to be, like, completely in the world, if that makes sense, to do worse things, to go do the crazy, like, I was offered some crazy stuff, okay?
It's like you had a limit. It was like, oh, I can go here, and, like, that'll make me feel like okay, but, like, oh, I can't if I go there, like, no.
Exactly. It's like there was, like, a level of conviction, but I'm not gonna go that far, but because I have to be careful, I'm serving on Sundays, like, you never know. But
girl, you don't need to be there. You don't need to be there at all.
Shut up.
Did you ever feel like that you were, like, missing out? Like, did you go through like a thing of like,
yes.
when you started to get closer to God, that it's like, oh, I'm missing out on the fun, or I'm missing out on whatever, filled in the blank?
Yeah, as like as a newer, like when I was more of a baby Christian, like actually no, here. I think when I was more of a lukewarm Christian, I definitely felt like, and I was getting more to like the actual like getting my relationship with Christ right. There was kind of like like, why is it bad for me to do certain things? And like, oh, look, like those people are having a lot of fun doing that stuff. And, you know, like, why, like, do they not get conviction? Like, why am I getting conviction? Why are they not, like, why do they not care? Do they have not, they don't have to worry about these things, but like, I hear a voice. I hear a voice tell me, like, no, like, softly telling me, like, that's not right. Like, you shouldn't be doing this. You know what I mean? But like, as when I started really just going, after I started experiencing the presence of God, like actually encountering him, I looked at the things that my people, friends, past friends, whatever they were doing, and I never felt jealous for them. Like, I never felt jealous for them. I didn't have FOMO. Like, I was just like, this is just
something
I couldn't even imagine the stuff I did, and I can't even imagine being in it again, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's so crazy how it changes. And one thing that a very wise man told me, shout out my dad.
Yeah,
shout out to my dad. And this honestly gave me so much revelation in this. He, you know, one time I told him, I think this was when I was like fully walking with Christ more, and it was a season of my life, and you know this, where I didn't have a car, and you know, I couldn't go out and, you know, hang out with my friends, with you guys, and do all these things and everything, because I had to constantly ask for rides and everything. And I was like, I feel like, I just remember telling him, like, I just feel like I'm missing out on so much. Like, everyone's doing anything, and I have FOMO. I just told him that. I was like, I have FOMO. And he was like, you know what? I don't believe in FOMO. He was like, FOMO is the enemy's way to steal the Lord's peace that you have for you. I said, oh, okay. Clock it. Because he was like, you're exactly where you're meant to be for a reason. Like, you don't know what you're either being saved from, or like what's happening there. Like, you don't need to be a part of that, or what's saving you,
or the protection.
Yeah,
it's just the protection. Yeah.
And yeah, so after that, like, I was like, you know what, if I was invited or if I'm not there, that's okay.
It's fine. Yeah.
I'm right where the Lord needs me to be in this moment,
right where I was supposed to be.
So yeah, FOMO. After that, I never got FOMO, and especially over things that I used to do that are not good. Nope.
Yeah, I would say for me, like, okay, so for my side of it, I feel like in different ways I kind of had a little bit of all of these at some point. And so like the Sunday only, like I did the same, because we're worship leaders, so at some point in our lives we're always serving on a worship team. I know at a point for me and my family, we weren't going to church, but and that was more of me just becoming and taking my faith seriously in a way. It was like through high school and stuff like that. But when I got to college, and then now I'm back serving on teams and stuff, it was like that, oh, like I'm out doing this, I'm out, I'm also in a relationship. So fornication for me was a very big part of like the thing for me, like lukewarm, trying to compromise it, trying to be like, oh, well, I mean, I think I am gonna marry this person anyway, so like I can do this now with them, because like basically, like that's a big thing. It's like, oh, it's not necessarily wrong. We're basically like that's my man. So what's wrong?
Where's the ring at?
Where even, if you're listening to this, Buki, even now, look, we're abstinent now. Praise God, because I'm telling y'all that is something that is like, when it's lifted, God shows a lot of things. Like, he be trying to teach. He's literally trying to show people stuff. Yeah. But anyway, that was a big thing for me while being lukewarm, and also drinking and smoking, and like trying to justify it. And
for me it was cussing.
And like, it's so crazy how like things are different for people, because for me, cussing was like one of the first things that I was like, oh, okay, like,
yeah, she never
like really. That was something to me that it was like very easy to like get rid of.
For me, for me, it was actually up until like a year ago. Yeah, now that I stopped like actually cussing, like I used to cuss in every sentence, every other, and even Melanie at one point. Melanie was like, you know, what if you died and your last word was something like that? And
I was like, I literally talked. I talked to her because I was in the point where like I'm like you know, like when you have like that friend and you know that y'all are both trying to grow, and I'm getting to the point I'm like, I don't know if my bestie should be cussing like this. Like I really don't know if she should be talking like this, and I'm feeling it for her.
Yeah, and but the thing is, we were not even where we were now when you told me that. We were both very much in the world, and she, you know, it's bad when you're in the world and she's
because y'all like the thing was, it's like, what if, because I had it was an incident and this is when I was little. It was me and my brother that has stuck with me. That revelation of cussing has stuck with me from when he said it when we were little, because it was like we were with our aunt and we were in like a grocery store parking lot and she almost hit somebody, right? And his first reaction was like, oh, S or whatever, right? And like I guess it really convicted him in that moment, and like he went back and like we had a conversation. He probably doesn't even remember this, but shout out, brother. But we had a conversation. He was like, yeah, like it was just like, well, what if you did get in that car wreck in that moment? And my last words was, oh, S, when I should have been calling on Jesus.
Oh!
And I was like that.
No,
and I was like that, and that like stuck with me a lot. So like it's like the words that was coming out of my mouth, like I was very aware of like the words that came out of my mouth, whether it's just a joke or whether it's just a kiki. But what if something were to happen and the Lord's like, did you actually like? Yeah. Now you're saying that stuff in front of me. Like, would you say that? You know, and like, but it's crazy because now like and I'm just like thankful to God, because like my first reaction with stuff like that, like even if like that's how you know, like you stub your toe and you like, oh, like when you stub your toe or something and like something comes out. But like now for me, like it's to that like literally Jesus, or like I'm like something comes out like now, and like that's the thing. But that's what I was just telling her. I'm like what if that was like your last, like I was just telling her that.
And I'm telling you, that day you actually like planted a seed.
And I'm glad, amen.
You really
I didn't even know, but I'm just like sitting here thinking. No,
like actually, because after that, like almost every time after I cussed at that, I feel like that just
it was in your mind. It
came in my mind, and it was during our Daniel fast last year. I had prayed for a lot of things, and that was one of the things I prayed for God to like refine my tongue, and not just refine me in general, but especially like my tongue in that, because I just feel like the Holy Spirit was like, so how are you cussing out of the same mouth that you're worshiping me with? Oh!
Yeah, that's crazy.
So
he's
so
like,
sorry.
How?
So sorry, Jesus. You're right. You're absolutely
like
right.
the same mouth.
Like you're exalting the Lord, but you are cussing the next. Like you're out all night.
When you get off the stage.
Literally right before or after the stage, you were over here cussing like a sailor, saying all these crazy things, but you're gonna go over here and raise your hands, talk about holy, holy, and worshiping the Lord with that same mouth.
Yeah, he clocked it.
Yeah, he clocked me real bad. He clocked me real bad, and it took a whole fast for it to really. No, like actually.
Yeah.
I had to, and after that, like.
Yeah. It was.
You don't hear me cussing for real.
And that's like, and I know, like I said, like the different people have different things, and like for me, it was like fornication, drinking, smoking, and like that was like part of the fence sitter one too, because it was like, oh, I would be compromising. I have this like tug and pull, especially with fornication, because I love this person. So it's like when you have that love for that person, it's like sometimes you don't see it, and you're like, oh well, this is something that like I'm showing my love to them. So how is this wrong? Like it was like a thing that like I was really like struggling to do, but then God allowed me to make that decision, and like when that decision was made, is something that's eye-opening, and also something about the decisions that you make. This is the thing too with being lukewarm and the people around you per se. When if God is telling you to make decisions, you making those decisions will show you the people that's supposed to be around you, because when you make those decisions, So for my boyfriend, right? Because I was scared, and I had to trust God with it to be like, okay, well, whatever you got planned, like, that's just what's gonna happen. But I know I have to do this. Like, and the enemy was trying to be like, oh, he's gonna do this, he's gonna go cheat, he gonna get mad at you, he gonna say this, and like all those lies were coming in. They were trying to make me spiral. But then I was like, if he does that, he's not the person for me.
Right.
And her, like, if like people were to get mad at her for making the decisions that she made to get closer to God, they're not the people for you.
No.
And when those decisions were made, it'll show you the people that's supposed to be in your life real quick.
Oh,
real quick.
Yeah, there's definitely been some filtering out for sure.
Yeah.
Just not even necessarily that some people are never like in my life anymore. It's just like the place that they hold in my life. Like,
right. Yeah.
The influence that they hold in your life, and you know what spaces you choose to be in with these people. Like, it's definitely, there's like a lot of refinement in it, and there's choices that you have to make. And because it's not like we need to completely discard of people. Like, we're not meant to do that.
No.
You know, we're meant to be around them, to be an example, to spread the gospel, to hopefully tell them, you know, why we're choosing to follow Christ, why we're choosing to let go of these things. But you know, you can be in the world, just not be of the world.
Yeah, because it's like unequally yoked goes for friendships too. Friendships and relationships. So it's like when you have somebody that's being lukewarm, and then you have somebody that is like pursuing God.
Yeah,
it's very hard to have them hold a high place in your life, because it's influence. Relationships have influence. So it's like somebody who's lukewarm can't really have the same influence on you as somebody who is going on the same path as you.
Right.
So it's like it'll just very, like, that's just something that it'll show you. And
how can you trust, you know, but that they're giving you sound advice, that they're giving you
if you're not even on the if you don't even want to change your ways. So and then this is interesting. The last one, the busy Christian. I feel like, because I never really thought of that as being like a lukewarm thing, but to be honest, I found myself doing that even more, like, further in my walk with Christ.
I was gonna say the same
because
thing.
you can get caught up in like the serving and stuff like that and forget, like, the Lord just had to like get a hold of me with being like, if you don't have me in this walk, like the way that you're supposed to, like, nothing else matters. Like the serving that you're doing, the relationships you have, the future that you want, the desires you have, like, nothing else matters if you don't really have that intimate relationship with me. And that was recently, and I am like a lot more further along in my walk with Christ. So it's like stuff like that, it's like you're not even aware of that can be something that is like hindering your closeness with God. It's like the things that you just place at this high place. And so like that's really interesting, because that one can come further along, not even at the beginning. I was about to say,
I agree, that one, it feels like that's probably the biggest danger that Christians, like actual Christians now face, because we are, especially like us and the people at our church, we're so busy excuse me, with our ministries, like all of us are serving in so many different capacities, and we all love everything, but it's just like, how much pouring into are you doing outside of this? Like, this can't be the only way that you spend time with the Lord. This can't be the only way that you're getting the word, that you're spending time with the Lord, talking to him, praying to him, worshiping him. Like, this can't be the only thing. You can't just do that. And I feel like also, if you don't make intentional time, and you could get burnout, you could, you know, miss out on any time you can to actually develop that relationship. And I don't know, y'all, me personally, I don't ever want to hear the Lord tell me, depart from me, for I never knew you.
No, for real. I would literally shake in my boots.
I would crash out if the Lord told me that.
I would literally cry. I'd be like, no.
When I read that, my heart sank, because I was like, we could do all the serving we want,
and
but he never knew. You never made intentional. It's not about
that. Even I was reading like Hosea, and it's like that. There's like, I can't remember the main verse right now, but he's talking about, I don't want sacrifice, I want a relationship, because they did so much like sacrificing of these different things, but then they didn't have the knowledge from God. It's also in Hosea they lack from the knowledge of God. So it's like,
and also God, like Jesus came to fulfill the law. He became the sacrifice.
Yeah. So it's like, girl, what you doing?
Right. So
what you doing?
I don't know. I just want to know my Father. I want to know him.
I just
me, but like it's just just when I read that in the word, I don't want to ever hear that come from my father.
And I know that because at the end of the day, it took a lot for me to learn, but it's like I feel like everybody kind of has to go through it, because you start feeling so convicted to the point where you just can't. It's like you start getting so convicted to the point where it's like, what am I doing?
Yes.
And you get in this pit, and then God is like, I'm trying to lift you out of it, or you end up turning to the ways of the world. But then when you turn to the ways of the world, you still have an emptiness.
Yeah.
But some people just don't care. And but it did take time, because I still am learning God about the serving and things. He's like, you're not just my servant, you're my daughter.
Yes.
That was something
I was about to say that, actually.
And I was just like, oh my, and I'm pretty sure that I heard it watching Meg and Ashley, her podcast, and I heard it, but it didn't register. And I was in my prayer time weeks after I watched it, and the Lord said that to me, and I'm like, oh, that's what she was talking about.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, then I was honest. I'm like, Lord, well, I don't know how, so you're gonna have to teach me. I don't know how am I actually supposed to be your daughter? How do I do that for you? Yeah.
But I mean, we already are.
I know.
We just have to, I don't know, choose him and be still. I really just feel like it's just being still. I feel like for me, the vision I see in my head when I'm just in the presence of the Lord, and it's just me and him, right, in the secret place, there's always a vision that I get, that I had one day, and it just comes back to me, and it's just Jesus holding me, as a younger girl, but I know it's me, and he's just holding me in his arms.
Wow.
Oh, I get chills. And
that's so good,
cry.
but that's how much he cares about us.
But it's just that's how I know. It's just being his daughter is just being with him, just having reverence for him, being still in his presence. I am his daughter, and anytime I'm in the secret place and I'm just worshiping him, I just see that image. And I'm just taken there. I'm just taken there.
But that's literally what it's, because people would be like, oh, depart from me, I never knew you. And they're like, oh, so if I still have this relationship with him, but having reverence, when you start to have reverence for him, it's the things that might be making you lukewarm, you don't even want to do anymore.
No.
When you were saying you look back now and it's you can't even see yourself in it. I almost because I start to feel how he feels about the sin, and start to if you really want to know how God feels about being lukewarm, go read Revelation chapter 3, verses 14 through 22. Go read that section, because he feels so strongly about it, because it's so important. And so when you start to really have reverence and walk in that, it's you start to feel how he felt about sin, or you start to feel how he felt about these idols and things. And so it's I don't miss it. I really don't.
No, I actually get a lot of disgust for it.
No, it's almost, but that's what he said. He says he will vomit.
Yeah, actually a lot of disgust. I just don't.
Yeah, it's brother.
And I'm not saying that to be oh, pick me, whatever. But no, genuinely, that's just my heart. I don't. I just be looking back at myself and be like, girl, no, why? But
and I feel like for this, the people who are listening right now, I feel like we're probably gonna have to do a part 2 for y'all. I really do, because there's so much to talk about this topic. I think we are.
Okay, period. Part 2.
Yeah, I think we are. So if you want to hear part 2 and us continue to talk about this and continue to let you guys in on our little stories and what God did for us, and just some more things about it, and also how to overcome it too.
Yeah.
And just how to be obedient.
Yeah. There's actually another thing that God convicted me for, but we'll talk about that in
yeah,
part 2.
We'll talk about that in part 2. We're going to talk about some things in part 2. But thank you for being here for this one. Tune back in. Like, subscribe, share, comment. Comment your favorite part in this episode.
Yes. And if you were lukewarm, which one were you?
Yeah. Fence sitter, Sunday only, and busy. Which one? Drop which one you are, you guys. Thanks for coming, and we hope to see you. And remember to not only speak on it, but act on it too. Bye.
Bye.